All right, so basically, I interviewed Mr. Franco, Abel Franco. He was my fifth grade teacher at elementary school. He was a really good teacher. Basically, what I got out of his interview was that um, his father came here through the Bracero program, and they later sent his they he later brought his family over. He suffered a lot. He had to go through a lot of ordeals. Like right after school, he had to go work in the field and help out his father. Um, and yeah, his dad came through the Bracero program. Luckily, he had a talent for soccer, and he soccer was a huge part of his life. He went to school. He went to Chico State on a full ride scholarship through soccer. He yeah he To me it seemed like he didn't experience as much prejudice as other Mexican Americans during that time because he was athletic. I guess that was a more acceptable social thing. Um, People didn't pick on him as much. As you heard during the interview, he only got in one fight, and it wasn't technically a fight. Somebody just put their hand on him, and he just punched him. Um, but what I got out of it was that he didn't really experience. I mean, I think it would be fair to say that he didn't really experience the true uh, Mexican American lifestyle in the United States during the time. Yeah, he did suffer. Yeah, he did have some grievances. Yeah, he did have to work his ass off
in the field.
in the fields. But the racial tensions and the racial characteristics that come with it, he didn't have to go through that. So I mean, and I think that's a huge part because that's what builds a lot of people and puts that conscious into their mind, brings that conscious into them that yeah, there is racism in this country and that um, it does affect a lot of people. So I mean, he also had a lot of trouble going through school because he was a English learning student, and there weren't many classes for English learning students. He had to go to the high school in fifth grade because there were no Spanish speaking teachers. So during his fifth grade year, he had to go to a middle school to go through some English learning class, and then right after that, he had to go to high school to take another English learning class, and then back to fifth grade elementary school, all in the same day, every day. So I mean, yeah, he did have some grievances, and yeah, he did struggle, but I mean, and I hate bashing on him, but I mean, he was an awesome teacher. But I mean, to me, it seemed like he didn't really experience the full Mexican, um, um, if you want to call it that, the Mexican experience of the 70s and 80s and 60s. Yeah.
We also interviewed Josefa Salazar, and what she basically said is how she was born and she grew up in Mexico, and then she worked in fields in there too. She said she only went to like fifth grade, and she said that's because they were so poor that they didn't really had like schools that would go in a higher grade than that where she lived at. And then she said how she all of a sudden like got married at a young age and then had 15 kids. She said how she was legally, and then when she tried to come over here to give a better life to her kids, that at the right there when they asked her for her passport, that they made her bring all this kind of papers proving that she worked in Mexico and that she lived there and that she was just coming over here to work. They asked her all this even though she was actually legally, and then once she actually proved it, they let her come over, but they told her that the only way that she could come is that if she come live in Yuba City, which is kind of showed that they just wanted her to come over here because of the fields, which they wanted her to be working over here to benefit the United States. But she also said that she wasn't treated bad, but that's because she knew the people that were basically her boss, and that's why they treated her nice. But then she also said that she remembers how she had friends that would wear them pachuco styles, how the girls would wear their hair up, they would wear the short skirts and stuff. But she wasn't really like friends with them like that she would hang out with. But she said she was in that time, and that's basically like about it.
So now we're just gonna compare the two and their lifestyles. I think we should kind of do like a discussion kind of thing, like well, I mean,
Okay.
Sorry, what do you think?
I think that Danny's right. His teacher did have a more simple, easygoing lifestyle compared to Perla's grandma
In
because
comparison.
she
she stopped going to school like 5th grade, and his teacher went to school through college, all the way through college. And I think it's because he came to the United States so in such an early age that he got that opportunity, and with that opportunity, I guess he was more successful in some ways, and that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess when you put it into perspective, I mean, when you compare the two lives, um, tall, intimidating Mexican male, I'm sure would get less. He would see less prejudice and less racism than a small, little, petite Mexican woman. You know, because in this society, women are regarded as less worthy. You know, which is yeah,
Patriotic society.
yeah, patriotic society. And I mean, I guess to me, it seemed not surprising that he did have it um, relatively better in comparison with other people because he is a big guy. He's intimidating. Um, let's talk about the way they came here. I mean, Mr. Franco came legally through the Bracero program, or actually not through his father came through the Bracero program, and his father's employer put in the application for the rest of the family. And back then, it was really easy. It took only like a couple days or something to get all the actual proper documentation to be a legal citizen here. So I guess he was never a legal and illegal. But what about your grandma? Did she come here?
She was legal.
She was legal the entire time?
Legal. And she still worked in the fields and stuff.
Like,
obviously for education.
Didn't she come here because her husband was over here?
that was kind of she came over here because of the work, right?
Yeah, because she wanted her like for their kids.
So that was kind of like a pull factor that we talked about in college.
Yeah, pull factor.
But like to me, it seems like why do people in Mexico, why are they so oppressed that they have no jobs and they have no means to provide for their family? Why don't they have a job? I mean, I'm sure Mexico has and why is their economy messed up? I mean,
so the government.
Well, what did the government do exactly to mess up their economy?
Yeah. Well, he fucking sold.
It's NAFTA, National Labor Relations, National. I forgot what it stands for.
The thing I think we need to like focus on is why they come here, and obviously it's to get a better life. Like I already said, like your teacher, he had a better life because he came at such a young age. Her grandma came later in life when she was like 40 something. So
she came at 40 something? I thought she came like at 20.
No, she came at 40 later. Something. She came like 30 years ago. She's 70 something.
Oh, okay. I didn't even realize that. That's totally different then. Because my teacher spent like what, a third of his lifetime here in the States, and only like, I mean, 2/3 of his life here in the United States, only like a third of the day. Oh, okay.
He went to school here, didn't he?
Yeah, he went to school here.
My grandma didn't.
Okay. But like about NAFTA, it's like, NAFTA stole a lot of jobs from the Mexican people, from the citizens. They put up the defense that like, yeah, we provided a lot of jobs, but even more people were unemployed. So it was because of things like NAFTA that people were desperate for food, for work, that they had to resort to emigrating and leaving their families to go to the United States. Because I'm pretty sure anybody that's from Mexico, they don't want to be here. They want to be with their families. Huh? Would you guys agree?
I personally, I know some friends that her family moved over here for work, and she like doesn't really get to see almost her entire family lives in Mexico besides her and her mom and dad and brothers and stuff. And she's like, I don't know why we moved over here. I was like, well, why did you? She's like, my dad wanted to work, but she really wants to go back to Mexico, even though she's been here for like 5-6 years already. But still, she still misses where she came from.
Did we come through like a visa program or something?
I think so. I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure nobody wants to like
leave their entire family,
leave their entire lives just to fucking. I mean,
just for work. Yeah, work is important because you need the money to survive and live in this world. Because revolves around money, but you don't want to leave your life behind, like your family, your friends, everything you know and love, just to come to a new country so you can be discriminated against and like it's basically you feel like shit for no reason when you shouldn't have to, just because you're different.
And like, yeah, I mean, like they leave their families. All right, that's one messed up thing. Then they have to come here and work for wages that they deserve more.
Barely enough.
Yeah,
Barely
they're
anything.
below. Most of it is below like minimum wage
Yeah.
and stuff.
And they can't do
And since,
nothing
like-
because they're illegal.
And since like more and more come, that drives the wages down. Because
Yeah.
like if somebody says, "Oh, I'll work for this amount," and then somebody else says, "All right, I'll work for cheaper," and then somebody else comes, "I'll work for cheaper."
So they can't really fight because everybody's always gonna want to work below
Yeah.
that because they
'Cause
want
need
a job.
Yeah, exactly. And then once they have a job, they have it pays very little, and then they're discriminated against here. So, I mean, to me, the whole notion of coming to America to be free, I doubt it. I really doubt it. I mean, yeah, we have food and like a subsistence and stuff to live off of. But in Mexico, you're with your family, the people you love, and like you don't worry so much about material things like a stupid iPod or like freaking.
It's not important.
Yeah.
I guess it's just like depends on when you come that really matters. If you come later in life, it's like whatever.
Yeah.
When you come younger, you're more Americanized and you want more American things.
Easier to
Because,
fit in.
yeah, it's easier to fit in.
Okay, so I think that's it. Yeah.
Our conclusion.
I hope you
And-
enjoyed our conclusion discussion. Thank you.